I BoredGamer. Let me just tweet out that I'm streaming, and then we'll actually be more live than we are when we're live. We're not live. I'm bad at words. About tweet. I'll do. Oop. Right. On chat. Oh my god, my face is just there. Hello. Welcome to a BoredGamer Gurumuru. Let's lower the volume of the music in the background. You should still be able to sort of hear it a little bit occasionally. Perfect. Please tell me if it gets too loud, or anything like that. Yeah, so it's June now in Star Citizen. Fleet Week is over. Bam, it's done. And there were sneaky things done with prices potentially. I mean, it's not that sneaky. I think it was just an oversight, but you can view it as you want. We could talk about that. We'll talk about the 3 ships having their prices changed. We can talk about Alien Week coming up in a couple of weeks. We can talk about 3.19.1, a long-term persistence update. And I'm going, we've solved lots of the long-term persistent problems, but there may be some things you can do between now and 3.19.1's launch that will enable you to ensure, or at least more likely, to have your ships and items persist over to the next patch. What else did we have? Squadron 42 stopped being sold, although Dan PM was saying, look, we're changing its price. And that's why we stopped selling it. Be on sale again with the new price. I think that's... Oh, we've got Arena... So we've also got 3.20 and Arena Commander updates. Lots and lots of them. So they look like they're actually really trying to make 3.20 a big Arena Commander overhaul with that. So yes, and if you'd like to ask a question during the stream, just question in brackets and sort of ask whatever you fancy. I don't normally stream at 2 p.m, but today I am streaming at 2 p.m. In my BST, British Summertime. It's nice day actually as well. Already done most of my chores. Zin is editing a video at the moment of... I think we talked about 3.19.1's persistent stuff and 3.20 updates. We'll talk about some of that here and whatever else people want to. Hope everyone is doing well today. And yeah, a quick look at what people have been saying. So, someone was asking about the Orion earlier. I think currently, Clan Imperium have paused production on the Banu Merchantman, and they say they've done that partly because some of the team had left, so it sort of got transferred over to another team, and they were already busy. And Clan Imperium's new sort of plans are to focus on a manufacturer's capital ships, plough through them, and then move on to others after that of the same sort of brand, and then do capital ships like that. So what does that mean? Well, Clan Imperium are working on RSI at the moment, so we should see that the Polaris probably come out first, and then they've got things like the Galaxy and the Perseus, which they're going to get done straight after that, it seems. Now, it could mean that we'll see a couple of other strike teams working on other manufacturers as well. But the idea working on the same manufacturer with a particular team is that they've got that manufacturer in their head, and they've got a load of assets that they've just built that are either modular or transferable, so like doors and airlocks and corridors and textures and loads of stuff, so they can go bam and then build out these other big ships a lot quicker than otherwise. Now that makes me sad times for the Banner Merchantman, boo-hoo, but quite genuinely though, because I love the Banner Merchantman and I want to get it in game, but it is very unique, very bespoke compared to some of these other capital ships, so it sort of makes sense for them to pause that. Now, could that mean that after they've finished the RSI chain of ships, so that being the Polaris, the Perseus, and the other one that I just mentioned, which has now left my brain, could they then go on to the Orion? Yes, that is a possibility. I am thinking the Orion's probably a lot further out as a ship. Even if they do build it on the chain after that, it's going to take a while. It is massive, massive mining ship. So sort of bear that in mind. Galaxy was the other one I was talking about. Yeah, it's a ridiculously huge ship. Hello, hello. Thank you very much for all the kind words. Are there any hints to when Squadron 42 will be releasing? I really want to fly the Idris. Not really. I think there's going to be a big announcement either this year or next year for Squadron 42. Obviously, we know that Squadron 42 has stopped being sold currently because of a price change. That could indicate maybe there's going to be an announcement this year about it. But we don't know. No real tangible evidence beyond something's happening maybe. So, okay, with Pyro's an interesting one. So, could we see Pyro this year? Well, potentially, I think we could see it in Evocati this year. I do think there will be a plan for getting 4.0 out at the end of the year or first quarter of next year, and that could contain Pyro, because basically Cloud Imperium have said, look, although we want to get server meshing in as a priority, more of a priority is getting Pyro in now and all of that gameplay, and we can get potentially partial server meshing in or server meshing light, or even come up with a short-term solution to be able to get Pyro in. So Pyro is overly prioritized over everything else, and that could mean that we see it sooner rather than later. The Squadron 42 is getting the lion's share of development. Obviously, a lot of the stuff they work on for Squadron 42 is transferable between both games. Hello, hello. What do we got? Any news about the Santok Yai? Will it be ready for Alien Week? So we don't know if it's going to be ready for Alien Week. I think it's more likely to turn up in 3.20. I suspect we'll see a lot of updates for the Santok Yai during Alien Week. There's been a lot of work on it. We've seen it in a lot of different stages of development. It looked like it was sort of, within the last couple of months, has got very close to release. So that could mean it's a 3.20 thing. There can be a lot of... it's possible it'll be ready for Fleet Week. I expect it'll be the last time to be able to get it at a relatively good price. Next time it's on sale, it will most certainly go up in price, is what I'm trying to say. So it's possible it'll be ready for Alien Week. I think it's more likely for 3.20. CIG said they don't want to release any more ships without their respective gameplay mechanics. That's also true with the Banner Merchantman and many, many others, yeah. That doesn't mean they're always going to do that. It does mean that they're going to try and do that. The same way that they don't want to release as many concept ships, they want to get more straight flyable and variant ships out where possible. Jared Huckabee is still known as Disco Lando. Very much still known as Disco Lando. It's just they're more professional in a lot of their shows. Any news on the Spirits? They should be a pretty straightforward set of ships, yeah. Almost certainly turning up in 3.20. At least I would expect the C1 to come with the initial build. Potentially all of them. Is the Galaxy going to be worth it? I'm not a massive fan of the Galaxy. I think there's many more ships that can do the roles of the Galaxy sort of modular individually better. Is there a date set when the Vulture will be able to be rentable or buyable in-game? So, on or by 3.20's release. So when 3.20 released, it will definitely be available by then, if not before. They give them at least a 3-month exclusivity period after they're flyable. Any info on the Spirit, Apollo, or Legionnaire? So we do know that Clan Imperium are going to be going into production with Apollo if they haven't already. Spirit, very much in production. I'm expecting it for 3.20. Legionnaire, no new information on the Legionnaire. Will Arena Commander ever be a primary gameplay loop for people? Let's see what happens with 3.20. I think it's going to be a lot more played once they have the sort of game modes and sort of all the gameplay sort of tweaked well. And yeah, 1v1 duels, much more interesting fleet sort of battles with Pirate Swarm. Let's see what happens with Vandal Swarm as well. Lots of more interesting levels. So for people that don't know, there is a huge overhaul coming in 3.20 with Arena Commander, and yeah, it's a lot of stuff. They've sort of improved the front end. There's a load of new racetracks. So they sort of brought all or some of the existing universe racetracks into Arena Commander. They've actually put the sort of New Horizon maps and added a new one. And they put all of those on an actual planet Green, in Arena Commander, so that they actually have proper atmospheric flight models with them. There's a load of dogfighting and combat maps as well, with Jericho Station, Security Base Korea, the Winner's Circle, I think it was called, as well, which is on Planet Green. So that means you're actually going to be able to potentially do Vandal Swarm and Pirate Swarm in atmosphere, which is kind of quite cool. And they've sort of heavily overhauled the end of Pirate Swarm with a giant fleet battle. They've just gone, you've got to survive against multiple Hammerheads and Idris and stuff like that, all going on, and a load of combat ships from the pirates. And they send you a couple of UEE F8 Lightnings to help you, and then you sort of have to hold out for the UEE fleet to turn up. So really looking forward to that. Could we see the new Vandal ships, so the Glaive and Scythe overhaul update for that as well? Maybe, but potentially that would be sort of like in another update where they go, and we've got big updates to Vandal Swarm as well, sort of as the next update beyond 3.20, but we'll have to wait and see. Very much looking forward to that. We do know there's a load of Star Marine updates as well. 3.20 does a load of stuff, but it's sort of more focusing on that smaller gameplay, refining a lot of gameplay and a lot of Arena Commander stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. Any whispers about the 600 rework? Not at the moment. No, I've not heard any updates. What are the chances the Rylan is close to ready? Did they say that the Rylan was going to go into production soon? We'll see updates at Alien Week for it, which is in a couple of weeks for sure. Alien Week starts roughly between the 12th and the 16th, somewhere around then. I think is the 12th of June first contact day technically, and sometimes they like to start Fleet Week on the 15th or 16th historically. So somewhere between then. Makes sort of sense to start it on Monday the 12th, but we'll sort of have to wait and see. If CIG were to fill most of the needed positions talked about needing to hire last week in Stars, how much better will our lives be? Well, our lives would be, minorly better. So when they're talking about filling those roles, say they've got them filled, they then need to train them. So that takes a bit of time away from development, and then maintain them. But it would be great for them to have just a huge amount of staff working on the game for sure. and be able to pump out the content in a faster manner, work on more things simultaneously. Yeah. What else have we got question-wise? But I think Arena Commander is going to be a big update in 3.20 and actually be used and be fun. At least that's the hope, right? Zero interest in Arena Commander 3.20 is super disappointing for me. Okay. There's lots of other stuff coming with 3.20. It won't just be Arena Commander stuff. I don't think 3.19.1's live yet. You can expect it within the next few days. Unless I not played Star Citizen in the last 24 hours. Sometimes they release a patch and I'm unaware, but I believe it is just 3.19.0 at the moment. We do know that there's going to be a long-term persistence copy with this one, so that there's no planned wipe with 3.19.1 live. Okay? But that does mean... and Cloud Imperium have suggested that they don't plan to wipe for 3.20. At least I think that's the subtle undertone there. But we'll have to wait and see if they do. Now, they've basically said, if you want your ships and items that you've bought in game to persist between patches, you need to effectively take them out of your inventory, so spawn them, whatever, put them back in inventory, and store them or whatever. So that basically makes the server acknowledge in like a list form that yeah, that exists. So yes, this item exists and is owned by you. Stuff like refinery jobs and consumables, they will get wiped, whatever, as do rented ships. So bear that in mind. But 3.19.1 very soon. What is the cause for low server FPS and low and 30Ks? So, 30K can be caused by a huge range of things, from server degradation, which will just happen over time until they have a way of generating the servers in a better way, which that they are building on at the moment. That's one of the things that persistent entity streaming and sort of work towards server meshing does allow. Low server FPS can be caused by a lot of different things. General server degradation just over time, but also more items, just more scrap, more stuff being strewn around the verse and being loaded in without being unstreamed. Does the behaviour show them leaning towards the patch going live after Jumptown? Yes, I think that's Kestrel. I think that's exactly what they're doing. Or do you see a live patch earlier? No, I don't think they'll interrupt Jumptown for it. I think it'll be, realistically thinking about it, it'll be on like Monday or Tuesday they'll release the patch. That'll be my expectation. It's possible that they'll release it today. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for all the comments and the subscriptions. That is genuinely appreciated. If you do want to go further to support the channel, you can do live chats and donations and use the join button and stuff like that under videos. It is genuinely appreciated, but it is not essential. We've got a lot of support from a lot of people, and it genuinely helps. Jaybird and Samieti, you are beautiful mods. You get little kisses, little mod kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Why is 3.20 mostly around Arena Commander? That's just the sort of stuff they've revealed so far. There's a big Arena Commander overhaul that's sort of all being released at the same time. It's got to be released at some point, right? And it will help the persistent universe, at least testing for the game, because they've got lots of mini life cycles of ship combat and balance and stuff like that. So you should notice ships are significantly better balanced in the future. We've also got the Hull C turning up. So I think that potentially heralds the fact we might get more cargo updates and potentially ship scale tractor beams in the patch as well. There's some new mission stuff. It's like retrieve consignment missions, ship trespass, so start of more permission system stuff. If someone's on board your ship and they're not part of your group, You can legally expel them in any way you want. I love the mod kisses. Nice. Now, with the Hull C coming, and do you think we'll get working cargo decks? Good question. I think they will build more gameplay into the cargo decks and more reasons to go there. And then in a few patches' time, they'll be sort of fully functional. Does it feel like Jump Town has lost its charm ever since they made an event as opposed to player-initiated emergent content? A bit. You know what I mean? It's lost a bit of its magic because it was fully emergent. However, there's going to be a load of emergent gameplay like that turning up for lots of different reasons. I'm interested in Cloud Imperium making as many mission types and events as possible so that when I go into the game, eventually there's just tons of stuff happening everywhere. 30k protection thoughts? Because from Spectrum chat, it's not upbeat. But I want it so that you are protected from 30ks entirely. And there's ways to either respawn your ship back at a station or get straight back into your ship that's sort of recovered, but well, that's the essential thing. Eventually, you won't even know that a server's crashed. It will sort of migrate you immediately over to a new server. What do we know about ship breaking and vehicle munching beyond the working prototype? So we know that you are going to be able to break down sections of ships. So hull stripping is one type of salvage, sort of looting is another, so removing the components, and munching is another. So munching, the Vulture and the Reclaimer will be able to do. Reclaimer at a significantly bigger scale and is more built for munching than it is for stripping. Whereas the Vulture is more, in my opinion, more built for stripping than it is for munching. And it takes big sections of ship, which can be blown apart or blown up, or used. You can use sort of demo charges was one of the ways they said that you'd be able to do that potentially. And then you haul those pieces into your maw, into your crunchy area, and then it makes them into sort of compressed cubes of scrap or whatever, made of the material that part of the ship is made of. Any news where CitCon will be? They've talked about it before, haven't they? Citizen Con 2023. 21st of October in Los Angeles, California. Did they announce the actual? I'm not sure if they've announced the actual location yet. I could probably find out. I'm not sure if I'd be able to tell people if I did find out. Leave it with me. I'll give CIG a poke and see if they've got they're willing to share the location yet, assuming that it's been selected, which I assume it has been. ABG, are there any other alien ships in the works? Any stuff from Tavarans, maybe? Potentially. There's at least a couple of yet to be announced ships that are currently in production. Maybe some of that stuff will get shown off at Alien Week. I suspect there are plans for more alien ships, yeah. Have you heard anything related to the Hull B? So nothing explicitly. We do know that once they've got the Hull C in game, they will be able to pretty quickly to make the Hull B, and then the D and the E, I suspect, will be worked on relatively quickly after that. E and E are pretty big, though. It's not a confirmation of anything, that's just a potential expectation. An avocado merchant wanted to change the price of avocados. He wouldn't stop selling them. He would just change it. Thanks. Appreciate that. I know it's on pause for now, but has there been any significant changes to Venom Merchantman since they showed it off in Grey Box back in spring 2022? Potentially there's been a few updates to it, but we haven't seen them. Hey BG, are there any other alien ships? I talked about that. Will Squadron 42 become a game mode like Arena Commander with paywall? So it's buy to play Squadron 42. It's a single player campaign, buy to play. No other paywall beyond that. You expect a 3.0 21 or 4.0 instead. I'm expecting 4.0. However, the mysteries of patch naming and what actually Cloud Imperium will do remains to be seen. How long will people continue to fall for Star Citizen model? Constantly broken graphics demo before they realise they are just funding another person's lifestyle. So far, 11 years. I totally disagree with that. They obviously been building a massive studio, and there's a lot of cool stuff that Star Citizen does. Was it entirely broken for 3.18? Yes, it was the worst the game's been in many, many years. But they are trying to build out games. And they are going to be getting Squadron 42 out at some point in the not too distant future. I think a lot of people love Star Citizen for what it's trying to do, and there are obviously a lot of people at CIG that believe in the project. I've got friends there that complain about CIG sometimes, or about work in general sometimes, rather than CIG, but really believe in the project and love what they're doing there. I do not think it is just funding someone's lifestyle like Chris's and his family, although it is also doing that. But I think they're generally trying to make a great game. But I mean, I don't want to drown out or entirely ignore people that ask questions like that, because you have a right to ask that. You have a right to sort of believe that and do your own research and stuff like that, and talk about it and go, well, no, actually, I think from looking at it that they're not doing the stuff that I want, or it's taking such an extreme amount of time. I mean, that is a very reasonable point to criticize Star Citizen on, is the development is incredibly slow and seems to go on forever, and there is no end in sight. That is reasonable. However, Cloud Imperium do constantly release new stuff. Obviously, they sometimes break things. Yeah, you've got a live development and a live product simultaneously. Is interesting. Fuck your couch, Rick James. Elements of quantum in 3.20. Don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see if there's any dynamic universe or economy stuff in there. When will CIG give you a tour of the new building? That is a ruddy good question. Let me add that to my list of things to email CIG about. A list of things as something I want to email CIG about. Email SIG office tour. I sent them some feedback the other day on creator content, creator support. So I saw that some ships they had given me for giveaway. So occasionally CIG will give me giveaway ships. They didn't have Star Citizen game packages with. It was like pretty useful to have game packages with those for giveaways, so I can go, this has got a game package, so that's where you need to start Star Citizen. Hopefully, CIG will take that feedback on, but there might be reasons why they don't. Don't know if there is going to be an additional new alien ship for this Alien Week. There probably will be. I feel that it might be. Has CIG's focus screwed over years and feed us things to distract us? Should they focus less on events and fighting ships and focus more on stability and industry? So they want to focus on finishing the game and then polish, in my opinion. Their sort of focus on having a live development and live product simultaneously is great financially, but it makes it for a slow development. Because they keep on sort of erratically jumping between trying to get out some features that keep the community happy and push the persistent universe in its current state, while also having to sort of work on Squadron 42 and then develop stuff and maintain stuff and fix stuff, and it's sort of all over the place with a lot of development. It's not very efficient, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know the best way of doing stuff, because obviously they do want a monetization model simultaneously with that, right? Making money is important to them. They need it to be able to continue making the game. When will 3.19.1 release? Between now and next week, almost certainly. Between now and next Friday. Ship balancing. Any news on ships that are currently being buffed? Last few years, one alien ships got buffs during it. Don't know yet. Stuff's going to constantly get rebalanced and rebuffed and unbuffed and that sort of stuff. And you'll see that much more readily, I think, once we've got 3.20 out and Arena Commander in a much better state. Because I think that there's going to be a lot more 1v1 gameplay in there and multi-crew gameplay. So this is something I probably should have mentioned. Multi-crew is now part of Arena Commander in 3.20. So you will be able to go, let's all jump in a Constellation Andromeda together, and I can gun it. And we can then do Vandal Swarm or Pirate Swarm like that. Or even Constellation versus Constellation. Do you think they will adjust the ship matrix to replace the C2 with a hull C and it's flattable? What? I don't understand. We don't have Sin's live streams. So at the moment, Serge, hope you're doing well, sir. She is working on a video. She's also relatively shy. But we will do streams and stuff in the future, for sure. But do you think they're going to nerf the Retaliator? I think they're going to change the Retaliator, make it modular. And I think torpedoes and that sort of stuff will come into their own in the future. Lots and lots of balance to be done with that, but we're a long way off proper balance in the game. Do you believe server meshing is actually obtainable? Yes. It's just taking a while. Like, what do we know so far about how close they are to server meshing? We don't know how close they are. We know that persistent entity streaming was one of the most major hurdles. We know that they're working on static server meshing at the moment. Almost certainly static server meshing will be in game next year. And then dynamic server meshing is a big one. How long does it take them to do that? That could be quite a while. Because that's basically saying any object container can be a server. And then transfer server ownership to another server. And be nested as a server. And then also disband itself as a server. UI and Moba Glass update. We know that there's some updates they've done for Squadron 42 that will eventually be coming into the persistent universe. I do have a Discord server. It is linked in my video comments. Any info on when we can choose server shards? Not yet. I'm hoping we see it later this year. Probably see it later this year with server shard affinity or server affinity and being able to choose more readily what servers you go on. ABG, we say it's fine for ship prices to go up due to inflation, but why? It's not like the price of pixels has gone up that increases the ship cost. CRG are a business and they employ people, and the way they get most of their sales at the moment is through ship sales. It makes sense that the prices go up when inflation and that sort of stuff goes up. Now, they have also obviously targeted with the ship price increases, which they sneakily put in. They targeted some of the most popular ships, or at least two of the most popular ships, which is the Avenger Titan and the Cutlass Black. So $5 extra on the Avenger Titan, $10 extra on the Cutlass Black, and the Hoplite went up by $5 as well. And sort of, they do this so they sit better in the pantheon of ships. They do this to make more money. They do this to adjust for inflation. Although I haven't seen any ships go down in price ever. So I'm sort of okay with them doing that. I prefer it. Prefer them to talk about it first. They sort of just pushed that in without telling anyone. Then someone said, put these prices up, and they went, yeah, we hadn't given you notice. We're going to give you until the 27th of June, I think. As noticed now. So I'm not sure if that's just an oversight. I think it was just an oversight from them. It's not as if they thought they were going to get away with it, because someone will call them out for it. And someone called them out, and then bam. So I think I'm okay with them raising prices on ships like that. You can get it all in game. Don't really care. Avenger Titan, I do keep on recommending to people. Going up by $5 makes it slightly less recommendable, I suppose. And yeah, I'd recommend they get that in game now. Get a starship, get an Avenger Titan as your next ship in game. Oh, Plastic Death, you are a beautiful boy. That is a big old donation. I will sing your praises. Plastic Death, praises. They are. There's a little song for you. I don't know where I was going with that. Bored, my boy. Hope you are both awesome. Assuming I thought it was going to be both awesome and great or something, but I assume you mean Zin and I. I know you don't like timing questions, but I have a Splinter. When's it going to come out? So what you should do is get some hair tweezers, some hair tweezers, or pin or a needle and remove it. If you've done it before, maybe not do it with a needle or a pin if you've never done that before. You probably injure yourself or dig it deeper or give yourself a blood infection or something. But if you've got hair tweezers, pull it out if you can. That would be my my suggestion. Sterilize everything with vodka or something. Whatever spirit you've got lying around. I'd say later today, though, your Splinter will be coming out. But I hope you're doing well, sir. And thank you so much for the donation. That is huge. £50. That's a big donation. You're a beautiful boy, Plastic Death. And if there's anything I can do for you as well. Do you think we will be able to store armor in racks soon? So there will be lockers for it, and they want to physicalize it. I'm not sure how soon it will be. Although it does look like they're trying to push towards persistent or personal hangers and habs as well. Yes, indeed. $50 gets you a little mini song from me. Have there been any recent words on where CIG is currently in terms of getting master modes out to the persistent universe or even on the test server? They are working on it at the moment. They're working on that in, I believe, unison with, or at least they're also working on the resource management system, which is sort of, I think they want to bundle it all together. It's possible they don't, but I think they probably will or try to. So master modes, for people that don't know, master modes are technically sort of like the missile mode, the pilot mode that you have in your ships, yeah, and scan mode. But also they are developing master modes to be including a travel mode. And SCM mode. So what do I mean by that? So in the future, you're going to be able to either travel fast, quantum travel, and quantum jump. So you've got quantum boost and quantum jumping. Quantum boosting is a short range little quantum jump, and you'll be able to do that in any direction, and you'll be able to go above your SCM speeds in travel mode, but you won't be able to access your shields or your weapons, so you are pretty vulnerable. Or you're in SCM mode and you can't travel fast, so you can't go above your SCM speeds, you can't quantum, but you have access to your shields and weapons. So that makes the game very much, I am choosing to fight, I am choosing to run. It's much more sort of responsive to what you're doing, and it has to be a responsive. You have to make a decision on what you're doing. Everyone asks how Star Citizen, but nobody asks how BoredGamer. Oh, that's sweet. A lot of people do, I think. There are more gameplay loops coming soon. They put more and more in with each patch. Is there any new giant gameplay loops? No. So Arena Commando Overhaul updates new missions for 3.20. Do you think the Banny Trip Taker will be made into a ship? Basically a Banny medium ship. I suspect there will be more alien ships, especially for the Banu medium and yeah, medium and small, yeah. Do you think people forget that this is an alpha again? So, okay. Conan Imperium have been working on it for a long time. It's effectively early access alpha, yeah? And CIG market it as much as possible as a polished product, with each patch being, look at the cool stuff you can do. Yeah, so it's marketed as a much more polished or much more playable experience than potentially it is. So people are not tricked, but there's an element of that. They're sort of like that they're being sometimes missold on what they think Star Citizen is. So it's right for them to go, well, why is this broken? Why is this broken? Oh, it's an alpha. Yeah, it's an alpha. That is true, 100% true, and can be used to explain a lot of stuff. But for the uninitiated, or for people that bought it based on the latest trailer of of the new patch release, they're thinking, "What? This isn't the experience I'm getting." I think that's fair sort of criticism. Is there any information of when we can buy a 400i again? No. At the very least, you'll be able to buy one during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo in November, and probably before that as well, though. Do you think the Hull C2 will replace the... So, do you think the Hull C will replace the C2 for banning merchant owners? Part of the loaner matrix. I don't know. So the C2's got weapons, able to defend itself, and it's pretty armoured. And the Hull C is a lot less combat ready. Right? I don't know. Might make sense for them to get a Hull C. First time checking out your channel in depth. How is it that you have become so in the know and confident about Star Citizen and CIG? So I've got various friends at CIG. I've covered the game for a long time. I trust in what they're doing with the project. I've been on multiple office tours. I'm a true believer in the project and the game, warts and all. But I'm also relatively aware that they get stuff wrong sometimes, and there is drama, and they do stupid stuff occasionally, or they misstep. And there's a huge amount of sort of delay, or it's a long development time for a lot of stuff. I'm just in the know because I've sort of kept up on Star Citizen content for many, many years, and I occasionally get questions answered for me. I've got a couple of insiders that I'm sort of occasionally will give me information. I don't overly use sort of leaks and that sort of stuff in my work, because the accuracy of leaks as well is leaves a lot to be desired. So I'm just a long-term expert on Star Citizen, and I've covered the news for a long time, and I've got a few connections. I haven't played Star Citizen ages. I want to get back in, but should I? 3.19.1 might be a good place to jump back in if you want to just try out some of the cool stuff. 3.20 might be even better, just because it's so easy to play Arena Commander and practice and test stuff with that new stuff. Hey man, I just wanted to thank you for the great informative content through all these years. Oh, that's genuinely appreciated. Thank you so much. Any word on an alien starter ship? So I suppose the closest thing we have to that is a Reliant, right? That's a good question. I suspect we'll see an alien starter at some point, right? But something like a cutter, but with all the alien noises. I can't do the sounds I used to make when I was younger. Are there plans to make hangars accessible again? So don't expect to have a personal hangar that you can just spawn to as an instance. They want to put persistent hangars in game, in the persistent universe. I think we'll have that in the not too distant future. The Splinter was the name of a ship. Which manufacturer would produce it? Drake, probably? How sure are you that the Spirit series will be ready for 3.20 or the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo? Pretty sure. And it looks like it's made good progress, right? I'm 70% sure. Testers rewards to get more people into testing builds. Maybe. I think that you could have mini rewards like skins and stuff like that for getting achieves or putting a certain amount of hours in test builds and unlocks and stuff like that. So have it more achievement based, and it could change those achievements every month. I think it could do that in the Persistent Universe as well, to be honest. Could we expect 4.0 at the end? It's a possibility because they appear to be focusing more on Pyro than they are server meshing. We don't have a confirmed date for Pyro yet. I'm expecting end of the year or first quarter of next. It's my hope. Do we know what technical hurdles are preventing cargo loads? Nope. Well, Calampian will be talking about that in more details, but I don't personally know. How come that even with free flight over server performance is still subpar? Will it improve 3.19.1? I've had a relatively good experience. Jumptown is running at the moment as well, so sort of bear that in mind. 3.19.1 has a huge amount of fixes, and I think will further improve the stuff quite a bit. Do you miss Redacted? Yes. I actually quite enjoyed the talks between Salty Mike, previously to X17, and WTF Saurus. Yeah. It's a good laugh. They weren't necessarily at the best times for me. Any idea when drones will be back again? I know they've been working on scout drones for Squadron 42. I'm not sure when we'll see them actually in game, but they are effectively just remote turrets that move, right? This is my first Alien Week. What is it and when? So expect it sort of between the 12th and sort of 16th of June, roughly. The start around then. It's basically first contact and alien celebrations and stuff. So they typically release like a translatable piece of text from the Banu or Xi'an or whatever. They'll have some competitions going on. They'll have some ship sales. And they might release a new ship or vehicle. There'll be some skins and that sort of stuff. So it's sort of, and then there'll be focused episodes of Inside Star Citizen or Star Citizen Live, which talk about aliens. We'll get see some alien updates. I haven't talked to Saurus in about a year, so I will attempt to track him down again at some point and make sure he's still okay. Rexilla's just moved on to other games, as far as I'm aware. Thank you very much for all the comments. Thank you. Your microstar is called the Dirty Diaper. Oh, that's lovely. When do you think the Vandal ships updates are coming out? It's possible for 3.20. I'm thinking that maybe, though, they're going to say, actually, in 4.0 or the next major patch after 3.20, we're going to do a Vandal Swarm update and then update the Vandal ships in that as well. So, I say update the Vandal ships. I mean the Glaive and the Scythe getting the latest sort of model. Do you think the new gun insurance feature was intended, or do you think it's a glitch that's patched out? I'm not sure what you mean by gun insurance feature, to be honest. I might know it by something else. I don't think it was nothing's intended with insurance changes at the moment. Do we have an idea as testers which ships receive a gold standard pass or how they determine? So, it's ships that they either decide need one or ones that are for Squadron 42. They get priority. In real life, what would you suggest for a middle-aged person who self-isolates but wants to be more social and make a few friends? Board games. So, go to places like Board Game Arena, play some board games there, play some social PC games, potentially ones that you use Discord on. If it's for Star Citizen stuff, then join an org, use Discord, get on comms regularly. You can be pretty social while staying in your house. You can be remotely social and actually have a pretty good time. Potentially join like D&D groups and do that on comms. So, finding things that you can do in your house where you are using comms or on comms regularly. When I'm not streaming or recording, I am literally on comms with people like Zin and my other mates pretty much the whole day. And they just sort of jump in and out. Other than that, I'd happily live in the mountains, isolated from all other human contact. Although I do quite like being social sometimes. Can we get an episode where you talk like a pirate the whole time? That would be awesome. Potentially. Speak like a pirate day. The problem is I've got a moderately good pirate voice and persona. However, it destroys my voice. Maybe I'll work a way of doing a pirate voice that doesn't damage my vocal cords so much. Do you think Pez will pan out? Yeah, I think so. I think they need server meshing, dynamic static server meshing to come in, and some more updates there. With John Crew mentioning the loose ship schedule, do you see the Polaris being ready in 2024? I genuinely do. I think that's quite likely. What does $100 get you? I don't know. Probably 2 songs. What else do we have? Do you think we'll start to see NPCs use trams and move between platforms? Yes, I actually think that's relatively close. I do think they've been working quite a lot on the dynamic universe sim and generally NPCs being more realistic, moving around. What they meant by gun insurance is that you take out a ship, place guns in racks, store, and change some components, save the changes. Now, claimed and repaired, the guns will be there. When you repair the ship, do you get charged for the weapons that are inside? Oh, I see. You don't get charged for the weapons that are inside, I don't believe. But that is unintended. I like the fact that it saves it, though. That's cool. That's a lot less fiddly. Bigger ship, the moderately involved group of 10 players keep going in game. Probably an Idris. You might even be able to get away with a javelin. So it looks to me like they've started reducing the necessary how many crew that you need for running a ship. I think realistically an Idris you could probably run with 10 people. Would it be the most optimum? No, you'd probably want a few more, but you could certainly run it pretty well. Yeah, I love the fact that guns you put in racks are treated as effectively parts of the ship that you've attached something to. So when you repair them, they respawn effectively in that they are reattached there. I quite like that. I do not think it is intended at all. Do you think the removal of Squadron 42 from the RSO website has more happening than just a price work? Potentially, there's going to be an announcement at some point soon. It's weird that it just was removed. Someone had a spot that was removed, and then they made a statement on it that was, "We're just changing the price." Well, why didn't you just change the price? But I don't know. If they do add the HLC in 3.19, that's what it's showing us at the moment. What economy changes do you expect to accompany it? They'll probably do a bit of an economy overhaul. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more making money at scale, right? Because it's a big cargo ship. There's also potentially a lot more loss. I do think we're going to start to see ships go tractor beams as well. Any updates on persistent habs? I know they're working on them, but not much beyond that. We do know that they've been building lots more sort of outposts and new areas, which we'll probably start seeing in 3.20 as well. So lots of new sort of villages and towns around Microtech, etc. The Fury Pack bundles, will they be CCU'd individually? You can, I believe, CCU them individually. didn't they say in the past that an NPC should go through a full day-night cycle? Yeah, full 24-hour cycles for NPCs, including wanting to go to bed, working, drinking, eating, all that sort of jazz. Right. What do you expect to see at CitizenCon this year? That is an interesting question, which I have not fully dug down into yet. It will probably be a video we do in July. I don't 100% know yet. I don't even 50% know yet. Right. I'm going to see who else is streaming, because I'm going to throw you over to them. I'm going to get a video out in a second looking at 3.20 updates, Arena Commander bits, and 3.19.1's long-term persistence plans, and ways that you can sort of guarantee, or more likely to guarantee, your stuff getting pushed over with that. So bear with me 1 second. Let's see who else is streaming, then we'll talk very briefly and send you over. Who's actually online today? I don't normally stream at this time. I'm just throw you over to the beautiful boy, Salty Mike. He has strong, powerful opinions, which will not be opposed. I know he's. I like Salty Mike just because he's pretty honest the way he feels immediately. Quite emotional and passionate about stuff. I quite like that. You know he's not a shill. Oh, that's Slash Raid. That's the one. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to send you over to Salty Mike. I love the boy. Obviously, used to do Redacted podcast with him. We're still pretty good friends, although I do not contact him even near. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Plastic Death, for that huge donation as well. And anyone that's subscribed or followed, made a question. Thank you very much to my mods for being here today as well. If you want to further support the channel, you can join button under my videos. You can become a Patreon. You can always donate. But just generally asking questions and watching my videos and sharing them, that goes a huge way to help. If you've got any feedback or anything, if you want to chat to me, you can on my Discord, or you can get me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk. Thank you so much for watching and for asking questions and spending some time with me. And give your love to good old Salty Mike boy. So he might be grumpy. I never know with him. He could be grumpy in a grumpy mood, be in the best mood. But he's going to be playing Star Citizen and enjoying it.